Greetings, fellow Americans. Welcome to Fireside Chat, State of Our Nation. I am your host, Susanna Tanner, candidate for House of Representatives 2026 and President 2028. Did you know that family-owned farms made up 96% of U.S. farms in 2023? That's a lot. That is the majority of the farms that we have in the United States. Family-owned farms. 96% of the farms in the United States were family-owned farms. That is, wow. We really support our own economy with our agriculture. We've also seen a decline of farms since 1935, which is when the amount of farms in the United States was at its peak. There was over 6 million farms, but we still have a significant amount of farms. They are vitally important to our economy. And not just our economy, our health and well-being in general. Much of what we consume from is from our agriculture sector in some form or another. Now we can improve our agriculture sector. And here are a few ways. So first, let's implement a program where farm owners can get fuel for their equipment, their farm equipment, for $1 less per gallon than your average citizen, a discounted price, and replacement parts and services for discounted prices, and potential reimbursement programs for those parts and services. Some of you might be asking, well, how can we afford that? How can we implement that? $1 less per gallon for farm equipment. Well, in the scope of things, there's a lot less farm equipment than there are your average citizens. So the cost would actually be pretty minimal compared to what we American citizens, the average citizen, pays for fuel on a regular basis. So we can give a small amount to our fuel companies to offset those costs, to make sure that there's no one losing too much money. This is how we support our economy, support our agriculture areas. It's in a little bit of everything. So basically, we the people pay for it, and through our tax dollars. We are not going to end up with increased fuel prices, though. That's something that we won't be able to accommodate in our society. That would be too much of a shift in balance, and this is just for the agriculture sector. So just for those farm equipment, for the owners, to make sure that we can actually continue to produce farms in the United States, to work those farms, and to have what we have in our economy from the agriculture sector. So let's make sure that we understand that, and also that we make sure our agriculture sector has enough staffing to effectively manage it. So farm hands and inspectors and anyone who needs to be there for a reason that keeps us healthy, we can improve this way. We can also improve through, we can improve the staffing through employment programs that already exist, as well as the fast track to citizenship for immigrants. through my immigration reform program. Let's make sure that we have the appropriate funding for the agriculture sector. There's always a budget in place. There's always numbers that we can work with so that we can make it happen. Let's also make sure that that funding cannot be moved to any other program except by a donation. Now, as representative for District 3 here in Washington State, I can work with Governor Ferguson and the local Congress to find ways to implement these reforms and such in Washington State's economy to show that it works. Now, we are also going to improve our ag sector through education. And there's a lot of different ways that this is going to happen. One of the ways is through field trips to farms every year for our kids to learn about our agriculture sector, our economy, and this is through the National Education System curriculum. Educating our young on things like how to pick a fruit when it's ripe can prevent them from being sick after consuming something. Educating our young about farms in general and how they operate will give our young a better understanding of how our economy works, and giving them an education on behind the scenes operations will improve the likelihood that our farms are going to continue in the future. We do also consume a lot of trade, and that's just fine. But we can improve our agriculture exports by improving the sector holistically. There is a lot we can do for our agriculture sector, and the things I suggest are just the beginning. That is all I have for today. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity. If you like this content and would like to leave a tip, you can scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen or click the link in the description.